so-called adventurers who infest Stormreach. Your kind ruined my ascension to godhood. I allowed the world to believe my phylactery was destroyed so I could plan my next attempt in peace. Then Arandis Vol appeared and promised to help. I should never have trusted her. That half-breed she-lich betrayed me. She's bound my soul to obey her will. And now she wants you dead. At least that part I'll enjoy.
Alright, so after damaging him to 50%, he drops a dimensional door and 4 vampire knights spawn. You probably want to spike pyrite every time you go through one of these doors before you load in. I'm not sure why the archers only do like 10 to 25 damage before stacking up their range power, but I'm not gonna question it too much.
Stands at the end of this long chamber. Before it, the cold stare of a deathknight meets your gaze.
These dude spears are always the first thing you want to kill in this raid, unless you're, you know, undead or do not care at all about your ability to cast spells.
Back to the middle of the ascension chamber.
You're gonna want to have a lot of greater restoration scrolls because everything in this raid likes to remove your constitution score. It can get kind of annoying and kill you pretty quickly if you don't use a lot of the scrolls. He's going to pull you back to the center quite a lot. He's it's just a mechanic you gotta deal with. You do have to make sure to break the sarcophagus and pick up the item, or it won't count towards... Okay then. Yeah. He can still teleport you even if you're already there. Now for the rest of the raid, we're going to mostly just ignore everything in the center and just swim. Exalted Angel Mantle will keep us mostly full health for the rest of the raid.
You'll not escape my wrath by hiding.
The Abbot sighs as you are pulled back to the middle.
That being said, the more healing amp you have, the better. You do need petrification immunity to be able to solo this. And I'd honestly just recommend having it even if you're not soloing it. So if you don't have a ultimatum augment, or you're not in Divine Crusader, I would say your job is to go do these side rooms while you have somebody else sit in the middle that does have immunity. That way you're less likely to get grabbed by the stones. The faster you get done with these doors, the better, because you want to get the meteors to break the petrification. Alright, I think I gotta use sprint boost.
Your spell and missile attacks on the deathknight seem to be weakening you.
You'll not escape my wrath by hiding.
The Abbot sighs as you are pulled back to the middle of...
Alright, well, this deathknight debuffs you, makes your spells cost a lot more than they would normally. This stacks up to 19 times, but on the 19th cast, it gets dispelled when the cooldown runs out to 0. So you just want to spike Pyrite and wait out the timer. Hopefully we can time it to where I'm able to get back to the door before the timer ticks down to 0. Soloing this raid is mostly just waiting around and RNG. Oh, it didn't work the way I thought it would. Now that the debuff is off, we're going to try and kill him before he can reapply it fully.
You'll not escape my wrath by hiding.
The Abbot sighs as you are pulled back to the middle of the Ascension Chamber.
Now that he is dead, the debuff will no longer stack on you. At least not until we get later into the quest and he respawns.
The sarcophagus breaks, and wands appear amid the rubble.
You'll not escape my wrath by hiding.
The Abbot sighs as you are pulled back to the middle of the Ascension Chamber.
When he casts Inferno, I'd recommend either putting on Spell Absorption and drinking Curse Potions, or just completely avoiding the mechanic entirely by being on these outside platforms that you will be able to see with the goggles, or just having enough heal over time to just face tank the water. Oh. Well, at least we got to activate him, so I'll be able to hit him next time.
Rocks burst out of the floor, encasing.
We need to get away from these beholders as fast as possible because they will spam you with negative levels. If you want to solo this on a harder difficulty, I would recommend playing a undead character just so you can ignore the stat drain and the negative levels entirely. I would still recommend using Exalted Angel and just focusing on heal amp.
Rocks burst out of the
You want to find a platform to stand on so you can recast your Death Ward and kill these beholders. I'm not really sure where the door is. I'm not sure why I can't see it from far away. It might just be a setting that I have that I don't have enabled that's just preventing me from seeing it from far away.
back to the middle of the Ascension Chamber. Rocks burst out of the floor, encasing and squeezing your body.
Oh, I can see it from far away.
Rocks burst out of the floor.
I'm not really sure why you still get stunned for a short period of time when the rocks try to encase you when you are immune to petrification, but just keep in mind, as long as you are jumping, it doesn't really affect you that much.
Flames engulf the Lich's body and ignite the platform. Rocks burst out of the floor, encasing and squeezing your body.
Once again, I've went to the wrong side of the map.
Rocks burst out of the floor, encasing and squeezing your body. Sarcophagus breaks, and
You'll not escape my wrath by hiding.
Okay, he is now mortal, so we don't have to kill any more of the... We don't have to break any of more sarcophagus. We don't need to worry about any of the mechanics at the moment, just kinda sit back in the water and kill the beholders as they spawn.
Withdraw! And you mortals, I know your type. So quick to judge, so quick to condemn everything that's different. As the elves and dragons condemned my house for the affront of allowing me to be born, a half-elf, half-dragon babe. They hunted down and killed every member of my house. I escaped through scrying spells only because my mother used the dragon mark of death to make me a lich. And so, I'm the last of the once great house fold. The last to bear our mark. What a cruel jest.
The rest of this raid is just you get him to 50% health, then Vol, she just summons the Death Knights back to the center, and you just beat them down.
The Abbot's soul to make
Then he becomes vulnerable once again, you ignore Vol, and you just DPS the Abbot, and then, well, you win.
the abbot staggers under the weight of his injuries. An exasperated Lady Vol chimes.
We're going to wait out the debuff, so I don't waste all my spell points. Even with only 9 stacks, that is a 90% spell cost increase.
This is not according to plan.
As long as you make sure that the archers don't all shotgun you at the same time, you're pretty much free to do as you wish. And that's the raid. for Abbot on hard difficulty.
Vol grows sullen and relinquishes her assault.
What have you done?
Completed in slightly over 15 minutes. A lot easier than it used to be back in the day before we had all this power creep when the level cap was 28. This was a extremely hard raid to solo, even on epic normal rather. This is still an epic raid.
When something doesn't go their way.
The Ascension Chamber grows still as Lady Vol leaves.